Hello and welcome back to our NLP Global Summit speaker interview series. My name is Aisling Smith-Vance, and today I am delighted to be joined by Mark Andreas. Mark, you're so welcome.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
So, Mark, for those of you who don't know, Mark comes from a long lineage and a huge history in NLP. So, he's going to tell us a little bit more about that in a moment. But I would first of all like to thank Mark from the bottom of my heart and from the whole team at the NLP Global Summit for joining us as a speaker at the summit, and of course joining me here today for this interview. So you guys get the opportunity to learn a little bit more about him and a little bit more about why you need to tune into his presentation at the summit next week. So, Mark, tell our members who you are and how you got your start with NLP.
Sure. Well, obviously, I'm Mark Andreas, and just first also a thanks to you all for putting on this platform and helping us get these different tools out to more people. Really appreciate that. So, well, usually I don't talk too much about my background. You can probably find out more about it, but the really brief story is that my parents are Steve and Connie Ray Andreas, so you may have heard of them. They published a lot of initial books on NLP by John Grinder and Richard Bandler, and studied with them, and then from there developed their own processes, NLP processes, and so I grew up with it in the background in my home, and sometimes people would come up to me and go, like, what's it like having people do NLP on you all of the time? And I often respond, well, how would you like to be NLP'd on? But then in all seriousness, my experience growing up with my parents was that they weren't doing anything on me at all, that they were using the technologies and these communication tools with us. And so I feel really fortunate to have had that. It's not that they were perfect parents, nobody is, as I'm learning now with my 3.5-year-old and 1-year-old. But feel blessed to have been in that family growing up, and didn't necessarily know that I was going to go into NLP, but it was something that they never pushed anything onto us, and I love it, and here I am. So
I love it so much, Mark, because I know myself and I often talk about this with other NLP trainers. If only we had this when we were children. If only we had the opportunity. Of course, you don't know any different, but I give you like a little brief one. After I completed my NLP practitioner training, so that was very, very, very basic level of understanding of NLP at that point. My son was diagnosed with autism. So I was able to utilize everything, that I had learned in my NLP practitioner training immediately. Immediately in the home, I was able to because I was so like everything was so fresh with me and I was so eager, and I was able to see immediate change. Not that I was changing him, but I was just utilizing the tools of NLP to help our family cope with some of the tantrums and some of the behaviors that he was that he was imparting, and it was amazing, and I was so grateful to have had it, and of course it then gave me an even greater passion for wanting to share NLP with the world. So sometimes you don't know, but I think that's funny. How would you like to be NLP'd on? I wonder how my son will feel in 20 years time. Oh, that's hilarious, But anyway, yes. So that's how you got your start with NLP. So, when did you decide to set up your own business within it, or how did that come about, Mark?
Yeah, so well, I studied peace and global studies in college, undergrad, and then I worked in a wilderness therapy program for a couple of years as a trip leader so I worked with teens, like troubled teens, and then it was basically coming out of that. So a couple of years out of college where I started deciding my first choice was to be a science fiction and fantasy author, um, which I have several books that may come out at some point or another. But then I realized that this was really something that I wanted to do. And so a few years after college, started my private practice, did the practitioner and master practitioner trainings, as well as, of course, mentoring with my parents, and then starting other trainings that we would put on, and get to participate in those, and bringing in trainers from different places, and just learning
Amazing.
from a lot of great people.
Yeah.
Uh,
I love that, Mark, because that's very much what this summit is. It's learning from great people. The worst thing that in the world that you can have as a NLP practitioner or as a human being is a closed mindset. It's to be open to everything and opposed to nothing is the key. If you can take anything away from whether you join this summit or not, if you want to be involved or listen, we brought together a collaboration of some of the best trainers in the world, and of course there are many more besides everybody that's involved in this, and everybody's so passionate, so giving with their time, with their knowledge, and they just want to help other people to learn to pick up that little nugget of information that perhaps they didn't know before.
yeah.
There's so much to that. So I'd love to know more about your presentation, Mark. Would you share with our members what they will learn from your presentation at the NLP Global Summit?
Yeah. So I have a presentation. It's a recording of a presentation that I gave a few months ago. And I was really excited to get to include it as part of the summit, because one of the benefits, so it's of the core transformation process, which was developed by my mother, Connie Ray Andreas. And it's a really gentle way of working, where we can start with any limitation, any feeling, any behavior, any thought that we want to change. And that becomes a doorway to a profound state of being called a core state. That's just a state of oneness or okayness or beingness, that actually doesn't require anything else to happen first. And then that's the transformative state of being that then transforms that initial limitation. So it's a really wonderful way of working. A lot of people describe it as a spiritual kind of process or a spiritual experience, although you don't need to have any sort of belief system to benefit from it, like all the NLP processes, or at least the one the ones that stay process oriented anyways. And so let's see, where was, oh yeah, so one of the things I'm really excited about getting to share this with you all is that I had an opportunity to get a 7-week follow-up with the woman who had volunteered for the demonstration. So you'll get that added bonus of getting to hear from her 7 weeks later.
Wow.
And she had a transformational experience. Like, her whole life has changed. And I mean, I was amazed. I've seen a lot of amazing things, but it was quite something to hear. And so you'll get to hear that in her own words, so I won't say more.
Mm.
But
I
yeah.
love that. That's so great that you've included the follow-up as well, Mark. Thank you. It's going to be very, very interesting for our members to watch that presentation, to learn that, there is room for growth within NLP. There's scope to take, when you've been at this field for quite some time, that you can start to develop things in your own way, and that you can learn more modalities within NLP that can help you to create change in different ways. Um,
Yeah, and what I
that it's not
add to that,
rigid. Yeah.
yeah, what I'd add to that is that for those I know some people here don't have NLP background, and that's totally fine.
Mm,
You don't need any NLP background to be able to learn this process and benefit from it. And a lot of people who come to our trainings don't. But for those of you who do have NLP background, in the practitioner or master practitioner perhaps, you'll notice that the key presuppositions of NLP, the key processes from NLP that you learn in the practitioner and master practitioner, are built into the core transformation process. So
amazing.
you have positive intent, you have timeline work. You have Milton model language and the more sensory-based language from the meta model, and the different perceptual positions. So you'll recognize that in the built into the process if you have that training.
Wow, I can't wait to watch it, Mark. That's very exciting. I just love the tools. I talk so much. My students laugh at me because I always joke. I said, now we give you a toolbox after you're finished your practitioner training, and then you come to us and you do master practitioner, and you by the end of it you've got a van full of tools that you can use, and then after trainers training you've got a semi articulated lorry full of tools that you can use. So we're constantly building our toolbox, and I do always say to our students, take, if you have a different modality, if you've done EFT, if you've done tarot, if you've done meditation or sound healing or anything, bring it with you, take it with you, and add this to it, and bring something else in. Past life regression, great, bring it in. All of these modalities, everything builds on each other, and it's just another tool in your toolbox that you can use to help your client achieve the result. That's the key thing, is how can I help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And for every client that you work with, it's more than likely going to be a different tool. You might have a preferred method of doing things, but sometimes one thing over another is the thing that will work. So brings me to my next question. It's like my bonus question, Mark. What is your favorite NLP tool?
Yeah. So what I would say, I don't know if this is quite answering your question or not. I can't, but the presupposition that every feeling, behavior, or thought has a positive purpose. To me, that's it's something that underlines every good process in NLP, and it's also the core of core transformation, or at least that's where it starts. And just that presupposition, no matter what you're doing or what methodology or process you're using, is just, there's not a session that I do where that's not foundational. So that's what I'm gonna have my answer be today anyways.
Yeah, I like that, Mark. Thank you. And I think sometimes we overlook the presuppositions. There's so many of them there. It's like, the 10 commandments of NLP, but there's so much more than that. I know there's 14 of them, but there's so much more than because you can take each one of them and just like, you could do a whole training on each one of them as to how you can apply that in your work with a client or in life, or just across the board, because they're so powerful and so so important. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really good one for me today. Thank you. So Mark, let's get back to the summit and tell me, why was it important for you to be part of the NLP Global Summit?
Well, first of all, I have kind of a rule that if somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, do you want to present your stuff? I say yes. I know how much work it goes into putting this kind of a thing on, and because we do our own, not summits, but we do our own trainings. And so I always appreciate anyone who's helping create a platform where we can reach more people. And so you guys have made it really easy, and so why would I say no?
That's wonderful. Thank you.
And yeah, so it's important to me kind of our mission is to get this work out to as many people as we can who will benefit from it. So you're a part of us being able to do that. So thank you.
We are delighted to be able to enable you to fulfill your mission and your vision, because that's what we all are here to change people's lives, transform the world. So what would you say to somebody, Mark, who's maybe sitting on the fence or not sure, I don't know if it's worth my while, don't know if I've got the time to join the NLP Global Summit? What would you say to them?
Well, what I would say is that first of all, it's free, so you can't beat the price. And, you know, you can do it from your own room. Like, you've got 24 hours to access a whole bunch of different, or a whole range of different speakers. Some of them I know well, some of them I don't know. But I would say that if you're curious about this at all, it's no cost and super easy to tune in and start watching something that you think will be interesting to you, and see where it goes from there. Who knows? You might end up starting watching a lot of these. And you know, even if there's one thing that you're interested in, that's a reason to sign up and do that one thing, and then see if you're interested in other things from there.
That's so true. That's so
So
true.
in the core transformation work, we always talk about like finding out what that part of the person wants. And so I'd invite you to think about, well, what is it that you really want, and let that be your guide to whether or not to participate.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's really good. Thank you so much, Mary. Yes, the same goes to everybody that's out there. You can join for free, and if you want to go VIP, you can, which means you can join us in the lounge every day, where you will be live with us for the keynote presentations daily, and then you can sit back, chat, and relax with us while we discuss all of the presentations. We discuss all of the presenters and all of our aha moments from each day of the summit. So you can buy your premium, your VIP pass for only $49, but only until when the summit starts. The price is going up. So if you're thinking about doing it later, do it now, because then you've got all of these amazing recorded videos for yourself, all these presentations for yourself to watch over the next year, so that you can, get back, because it might be overwhelming. There's over 30 presentations, amazing speakers from all over the world. Everybody's teaching out a different topic that is going to be relevant to you, whether you are already an NLP trainer, whether you're already an NLP master practitioner, or whether you've never learned anything about NLP. Every presentation that you hear is going to be relevant to you in some way. So we're excited to bring that to you. Right now, I'd like to say thank you so much to you, Mark Andreas. It's been an absolute pleasure to learn more about you and to get to know you, and to hear about your wonderful presentation. I'm very excited to watch your presentation at the summit next week.
Great. Thank you so much. And, I'd like to also just, if I may, share just briefly, for those who are interested in something that you could take a lot farther if you want to, the core transformation process that I'll be demonstrating in the presentation is something that we teach an advanced training in, and even a coach certification training. So we're now certifying people as core transformation coaches. And so I just wanted to mention that, because some people are looking for a primary modality to become a coach if you're not already, or something, as you said, to add to your toolkit. A lot of people who get the certification are already coaches or therapists and have found a just really helpful addition to what they're already doing. And then also a quick shout out to Damon Cart as well, who's teaching my father's self-concept model as well. I know firsthand that's a presentation I recommend you check out.
Yes, I had the pleasure of speaking with Damon earlier on this week, and I'm very excited to watch his presentation too. Wow, like I'm totally blown away by your parents, what they've created, and how they've how they've put this, but like two unique therapies and transformational methods together, independently of each other and separate. But yeah, I can't wait to learn more about both of them. Mark, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to connecting with you at the summit, of course, in the future outside of the summit. It's been wonderful to speak with you. To everybody who's watching, get your VIP ticket now. If you haven't already signed up, do it now and join us for the summit and beyond. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Thanks so much.